In this exercise, we're going to be discussing the parts list. The parts list is very similar to the bill of materials, with the exception of the parts list is what's going on the drawing. This is what we're going to send out to the shop or to our customer or out to the vendor for a quote. To get started, we go to a drawing and then to the annotative tab, and we select parts list. Right away, Inventor gives us two different options. This may look like one option, but it's either asking us to select on the view or come up here and pick it out of this list. This is what's open. Or we could even go out here and browse out. So we could have a parts list that didn't even have a drawing on the page. More than likely, you guys have seen this. You have a parts list where it's the entire page is one big giant parts list. Real complicated assemblies, you may even have 2 or 3 pages of parts list. So you don't have room to put the model on there. What you do is you just go out there and browse for the file. In this case, we have the model, so I can just select it. And you can see that it can go through and change. Do I want to have just the parts? How do I want to have it structured? This would be if I had a bunch of sub-assemblies, I could do like a structured. In this case, I only have parts, so it really doesn't matter. I can decide which way I want to wrap the table. So if it keeps going and going and going, I can wrap it from left to right or right to left. And then you can enable automatic wrap, where it'll say, okay, maximum number of rows or maximum number of sections. Maximum number of rows is probably the best one. Don't want it to be more than 20 rows long or whatever. We don't have that many parts, so we really don't have to worry about it. You do have the option in here, if you say structured legacy, you can decide what kind of delimiter you want. Not really that big a deal. I'm going to say parts only. Let's say okay. And come up here and I can drop it up here in the corner if I want. And I can see I get a really nice parts list. Just like the revision table, if I want to make it bigger, I drag it from right to left. If I want to make it smaller, left to right. So things like my item number, my quantity number, I obviously don't need those very big. Part number can get pretty long, so I maybe want to stretch that out a little bit there. And then description can get extremely long. And I can come in here and tweak this. I don't really mess with the style as far as the length or anything, as long as it has all the information I want. I can add different columns in here and see, okay, this is everything I want. I can come in here and add my descriptions now. If I need to. These really should already be filled out in your iProperties of your parts. So now I have my parts list in there. This parts list is based on this drawing or on this assembly. If I were to come in here and delete a part out of here, it would remove it out of the parts list. It's pretty easy to use. So open up the Battery Pack Revision 3.idw and come up here and select Parts List and drop it on your page. Let's try to line it up in the corner here, snap it in there, and expand out your columns so we have enough room in here so we can read everything. You don't really need to worry about filling out the information. You can use the pre-filled out information. Just get them all in here so they'll fit real nice. And then we'll talk about editing the parts list in the next exercise.